The towel slipped from my hands, but I didn't react. Her laugh, a sharp, empty cackle that echoed off the laundry room tiles, lingered like damp rot. "You're lucky I even let you near me," she said. That's what she threw at me, as if I were some beggar who'd won a lottery, as if years of providing, repairing, cleaning up her chaos, and settling her credit card disasters were just a sad offering she grudgingly accepted. She spun around, humming, tossing her shirt into the dryer like it was nothing. I watched her, not furious, not even hurt, just something colder, clearer. I folded the last T-shirt, the faded one from the county fair we visited, before her new teeth, before her yoga coach with the ridiculous name, before she stopped caring about my day. I folded it with more attention than I'd given her in months. Then I stacked it neatly and left. In the hallway, her phone buzzed. A giggle, another text, another little ego boost from whoever she thought was her way out. Her voice shifted when she messaged, lately, lighter, like she was 20 again. I used to love that sound. Now it just reminded me how liars savor the buildup. I passed the hall mirror, glanced at myself, worn, maybe not as quick as I was at 40, sure. But I built machines that could cut steel to the width of a single hair. I led a crew of 20 men who didn't dare miss a mark. I wasn't some loser chasing crumbs of love. But in this house I was a stand-in. And stand-ins don't fight, they act. So I headed downstairs to the office. That drawer hadn't been touched in a while, not since I printed her work calendar from iCloud and noticed it listed too many Tuesday dinners at the Willowstone, never charged to the business account. Inside the drawer, the box, a small, polished oak box I'd carved myself after retiring. It was meant for cufflinks. Instead, it held truth. I opened it. Empty for now. Not for long. I lifted my laptop lid, no hurry, no scene, just a man doing what he always did, tracking, guarding, fixing someone else's mess. The folder was still there for when she smirked. First, email printouts. A realtor friend of hers, Claire, had CC'd her on messages about fun weekends in Pine Hill, except the dates lined up perfectly with the retreats she said were for work. One even had a rental car receipt in Lauren's name with a second driver listed, not me. Then the texts. I'd linked her phone to the family tablet 6 months back. She never noticed, thought it was just for watching shows in the spare room. One thread stood out, "Can't wait to see you outside the sheets for once, LOL." He replied with a thumbs up and a photo, him, shirtless, in a hotel bathroom mirror. I knew the wallpaper, the Willowstone again. Funny how betrayal has a smell. That place always reeked of lavender and stale ambition. She came down later that night, face bare, wrapped in that smug robe she wore when she wanted to play devoted wife. "You didn't say goodnight," she said, fake worry coloring her voice. "I figured you were done with me," I replied, smiling. She blinked. The moment slipped away. "You're being extra," she mumbled. I nodded slowly, like a man who didn't care about being misjudged. Because men like me, we don't need second shots. We need proof. The house fell silent around 11:17 p.m. Lauren was asleep in bed, tablet sliding off her chest, some real estate podcast still droning about trends she didn't grasp without her assistant breaking them down. Her face twitched in sleep, maybe dreaming she was still the star she thought she was, posing on Instagram in her sleek white SUV, wine glass in hand, fake laughs ringing in empty open houses. I stood in the hallway for a bit, listening to her soft snores and the occasional ping of an unread text from the guy she swore was just a business contact. Then I returned to the office. No lights, just the desk lamp, just me and the box. I slid open the drawer. There it was, small, square, oak, smooth edges, brass hinges I'd shined last spring. I'd made it to give her for our anniversary. Funny, back then, I thought we'd still have one worth celebrating. I set the box on the desk and opened it. Still empty, but not for long, not tonight. To the left, my printer hummed on. The first emails slid out. Claire's messages, forwarded flights not tied to our shared account. Lauren always thought I was the kind of guy who didn't check receipts. Maybe I was once, but I checked patterns, and people like her always left traces. I sorted the emails by date. Order matters when you're about to unravel someone's sense of security. Then the texts. I opened the tablet, screen already unlocked. She never knew the backup sync was still active. In her mind, tech was just cables and chargers. In mine, it was power. I didn't hurry. She called me slow for years. You move like you're lagging, she once teased at a dinner party. They laughed. I smiled. Because slowness isn't weakness, it's accuracy. I took screenshots of the messages she sent between showings, some with location tags still on. I needed that last night, she wrote in one. Let's grab a quick lunch before I head home. The timestamp, 1:42 p.m. She told me she was stuck in a meeting. The he was a contractor we'd hired to fix our patio. I'd handed him a beer. He thanked me like a kid. I scrolled further. Her tone with him, warm, flirty, nothing like how she talked to me now. One message hit harder than the rest. He's decent, but boring. A stand-in. My life's just starting. Boring. Stand-in. My grip tightened on the desk, but I didn't dwell. I exhaled, clicked save, and dropped the files into the USB folder labeled May Truth. Encrypted, backed up, copied 3 times. One flash drive, one cloud, one burnable DVD tucked in my toolbox behind the rusty wrench she thought was trash. Then I backed up her car's GPS logs. Her new Audi had tracking through the app, something she never turned off, amateur move. 3 Tuesday trips to a private condo downtown. She told me she hated downtown, said it was too loud. Guessed some noise she could handle. Each location was exported. I took a map printout and marked the addresses, labeled them in fine red pen. I checked the clock. 12:42 a.m. Not anger, not vengeance, preparation. The box wasn't ready yet, not tonight. It wasn't just about filling it with evidence. It was about the timing, the moment, the setup that makes silence hit harder than words. And that moment was close. For now, I closed the box and went to bed. She strolled into the kitchen like nothing foul ever came from her lips. Still in her satin robe, barefoot, mascara smeared from last night's half-hearted rinse. She poured that fancy almond milk creamer she claimed made her feel purer. I was at the table, sipping black coffee, watching the steam rise like signals from a life smoldering under its own deceit. "You're quiet," she said, yawning. "You mad again?" I turned my head slowly, deliberately, like I was chambering around. "Nah," I said, letting the silence linger. "Just worn out." She smiled, sharp, dismissive, the way women do when they think they've cracked you open and found nothing worth keeping. Then she leaned against the counter, scrolling her phone, thumb flicking, nails tapping the screen. "I've got a meeting at 10 o'clock. Big listing, might drag on." She tapped her watch. "Should be back for dinner, though. Don't wait if I'm late." "Big listing." I nodded. "Knock 'em dead." She blew a kiss near my forehead, already halfway out before I could fake a response. I waited, gave it 20 minutes, long enough for her to think I was back in the garage polishing tools or sorting bolts like the tame, predictable man she thought I was. Then I got in my truck. I didn't tail too close. I'd practiced. Weeks of quiet observation meant I knew her rhythm, her routes, her flashy little turns she thought made her driving look cool. She stopped at that trendy cafe on Oak. Latte in hand, she veered left down Maple Avenue. Not toward the commercial lot, not toward the office. I parked a half block away, out of sight, like I'd done twice before. That's when he rolled up. Blue Mustang, spotless, too spotless. Not a work car, not the kind of guy who keeps contracts in the front seat. He stepped out with a cocky smirk, in workout gear, not even pretending it was business. And Lauren, she glowed like I hadn't seen in years. Arms open, smile wide. They didn't kiss, not on the mouth. She hugged him, but not like a colleague, not even like a fling, like a deal she just closed, ready for a private showing. I watched them laugh. His hand rested on her back. She didn't shrug it off. I didn't blink. I took one photo, not a dozen, not a clip, one photo, then deleted it. I already had what I needed. That wasn't for a lawyer or even a showdown. That was just for tuning, for me to confirm that the guy she called a fitness buddy wasn't coaching her abs, he was rewriting her life. The truth was raw, but the way it settled felt clean. I didn't feel fury, I felt focus. It wasn't guesswork anymore, it was fact. She got home that night around 6:40 p.m., said the client was a mess, blamed it on traffic, on a mix-up. She breezed past me on the couch like she'd just endured a long day of honest labor. I looked up from my puzzle, asked, "Close the deal?" She smiled. "Working on it." I nodded. Her perfume still had that same floral note from our anniversary, except now it smelled like closure. She was humming again, that forced, breezy hum she used to save for happy moments like coffee dates with her friends or snagging a clearance handbag. Now it showed up when she was hiding something. It drifted from her throat like a wind chime in a storm, aimless, trying to seem relaxed but always pointing away from the truth. "Networking dinner tonight," she declared, spritzing perfume on her wrists. "Some agents from Boston are in town. Got to show up. Big night?" I asked, not looking up from the shelf I was pretending to organize. She turned, posed in the hallway mirror, teasing her hair. "Not massive," she said. "Just possibilities. Possibilities." I'd heard her call things that before: new clients, personal trainers, the divorced lawyer who bankrolled her office gala and once called her radiant. She chose a black dress that zipped up the side, heels too high for anyone with real work, and makeup that screamed she wanted to look a decade younger, but only under soft lights. "You look sharp," I said evenly. She smiled. "Thanks." Then she left, not asking what I was doing that evening. She never did. The second her car left the driveway, I shut the cabinet, walked to the office, and sat down with more focus than I'd felt in weeks. I opened the laptop, typed in her old iCloud password, still Lauren Ari 2020, and let the sync run. She'd gotten sloppy. The folder wasn't locked, not renamed, not even buried, just sitting in her drive like a bomb marked, "Open me." Videos. I clicked 2 files, one labeled Skybar, the other just a timestamp. I opened the first, fuzzy, dim light, wind hitting the mic every few seconds. But there she was, Lauren, hair swept up, laughing too hard across a small table cluttered with drinks. A man leaned in, same blue Mustang guy, clearly not there for business. He brushed a loose strand behind her ear like they were in some cheap rom-com neither earned a role in. Then the second video. The screen was darker, but the camera was propped on a nightstand facing the bed. Hotel wallpaper, gray curtains, a lamp tilted toward the wall. No faces at first, but voices. Voices don't lie as easily. Lauren's laugh again, soft, airy, then words that stopped me cold. "He still thinks I'm at that lame leadership workshop." More giggles, then skin motion. I didn't blink. I didn't replay. I didn't skip ahead. I downloaded both files and slid them onto a USB drive I'd marked in black ink weeks ago, L choice. She'd made her move. I was just the archivist. I opened the box again. It still carried a faint whiff of varnish and wood, pure, honest smells, the opposite of what I was storing inside. The flash drive fit snugly in the velvet lining. It looked small, but it held everything: her face, her voice, her betrayal in high definition. I eyed the second slot in the box. It had a space for papers to slide in. Tomorrow, the printouts would go there, the map with marked addresses. Maybe the USB gets a sticker. Maybe not. The box wasn't full yet, but it was awake now, a quiet thing with claws. I shut it softly, clicked the latch, and went to bed. I didn't need to ask about her night. She'd lie, and I'd let her. The house reeked of rose and excuses. Lauren had been planning this birthday like it was a rebrand, a fresh start. She called it her pivot year, as if she just hatched from some shell of self-awareness instead of a bed she had no business in. Balloons in silver and peach, 43 and fabulous, printed on napkins next to a 3-tiered cake she swore was low-carb, though she ordered it from the same bakery that priced frosting like it was a luxury drug. Her friends rolled in, shrieking, hugging, tipsy before they hit the deck, women she hadn't texted in months, now airbrushed and glossy, all clutching tiny designer purses and calling her Han in voices sharp enough to cut glass. I played the loyal husband, poured wine, grilled skewers, let them tease about keeping Jack away from the music because I still liked Springsteen more than streaming pop trash. She soaked it up, laughed loud, wore cream, smiled with just enough edge to make people wonder what she was hiding. Then came the toast. Glass raised, standing on the patio's second step, she cleared her throat. This year's been transformation, she began, pausing for effect like she was giving a keynote instead of standing in a yard with a sagging fence. New beginnings, she went on, gazing at no one in particular. Letting go of old weight, moving forward, being bold. Her friends clapped. A few cheered. One of them teared up for no clear reason. I handed her the card as the cake rolled out. She opened it casually, probably expecting a gift card or some sappy note. One line inside, "You're luckier than you realize." She laughed. "Wow, vague," she said, flashing it to the crowd. "What's that supposed to mean?" I smiled. "Just what it says." More laughs. Someone passed her a flute of sparkling rose. And then she saw it, the box, small, wooden, gleaming, sitting by the cake like it was meant to be there. No ribbon, no card, just present, solid and quiet in a room full of chatter and pretense. She stiffened for a split second, eyes narrowing just enough for me to notice the twitch behind her lashes. She didn't know why it was there, but her instincts didn't trust it. She reached for it. I placed a hand on the lid before she could touch it. "Not now," I said softly. She blinked. "What's inside?" she asked, forcing a playful tone. I shrugged. "Something true." That unnerved her, not the words, but the calm I said them with, the way I didn't grin, didn't nudge, didn't play along. I just stood there, and for the first time in weeks, she didn't know how to act. The laughter faded. Her friend prodded her. "What's in the box, Elle?" Lauren smiled thinly. "Just Jack being cryptic." She brushed it off, but her hand hovered near the lid. She kept glancing at it like it might speak in front of her guests. The night blurred on. Drinks flowed, photos snapped, women griped about partners while I passed out napkins and smiled like I hadn't already drafted the end of our story. She didn't open it that night, but I saw her stare at it before bed, not with curiosity, with dread. It started small. That's how fear always creeps in, like a thorn under the skin, unnoticed until you press it. A week after the party, Lauren burst into the kitchen in her robe, hair half up, mascara streaked in a way she usually saved for stage tears in mirror selfies. She slammed her laptop shut, then opened it again, slammed it twice more, like repetition would fix it. "Why won't this thing let me in?" she muttered, stabbing the keys. "Did you mess with my laptop?" I was at the sink, rinsing a glass, steady, unrushed. "Nope," I said. "Need a hand." I didn't change anything. My password worked yesterday. Now it says it's wrong. I dried my hands. Maybe someone got into it. She stopped, looked at me like I'd dropped a clue. "What's that supposed to mean?" "I mean, if your login changed without you touching it, sounds like someone else has access." She blinked once, then turned back to the screen. "No, it's probably just a glitch." Right, the infamous glitch, her favorite fallback. By noon, she found her work email was locked too. She couldn't access the company portal, her calendar was missing dates, and her work phone was bricked. She blamed the carrier, called support. They said the number was cut off 3 days ago by the account manager. That would be her boss. But her boss didn't do it, not directly. Because 2 days earlier, 3 board members got an unmarked envelope each. No sender, no note, just a USB, a printout of a hotel reservation, and a few images. Subtle, precise, nothing crude, just damning. The skybar footage made her laugh look staged. The hotel shot, blurry but clear enough, showed her bracelet, one she only wore when she wanted to feel lavish. And then the screenshots, texts with clients that overlapped with company meetings. Time theft, ethics breaches, a clear violation. An investigation was coming, but hushed. They didn't confront her, that would be too direct, too noisy. They let her sweat. Her assistant ghosted her texts. A key client requested a new agent. Then the email arrived, her protocol, you were under internal review pending clarification of recent scheduling conflicts. Lauren didn't eat that night. She tried to act fine, made her go to grilled chicken, which was just frozen cutlets soaked in garlic salt. I said it was tasty. She barely touched it. She cracked around 11:30 p.m. She came downstairs in that baggy sweatshirt she wore when she was scared and wanted to seem fragile. Her hands trembled. I think someone's out to destroy me, she said, her voice breaking. They changed my login. I'm under investigation. I didn't do anything wrong, Jack. I didn't. Her voice caught on the last word. I stood, pulled her into my arms, held her. She cried into my chest like I was still her anchor. I rubbed her back gently. Hey, it'll work out. She clung to me and I let her, because the thing about revenge is it doesn't always need to look like a strike. Sometimes it looks like solace, and that's what shook her most. She started flinching at doorbells. The first time was the delivery guy. She nearly tipped over a lamp when the chime rang, said she thought someone was coming to confront her. I didn't ask who. I just kept sipping my coffee and flipping through a tool catalog I wasn't really reading. Then came the call. I was upstairs, sorting a drawer, when I heard her voice from the kitchen, high and frantic like a trapped animal. Chris, what do you mean she saw it? How would she even know? No, I didn't send anything. She paced in circles, barefoot on tile. I stepped to the top of the stairs, silent. Her voice broke. I don't know how. It's not like it was marked. No, I swear I didn't record anything. Pause. Then, almost a whisper, what's she going to do? Another pause, longer. Chris, please, just tell her it was nothing. It was old. I walked back to the office and closed the drawer. By the time I came down, she was in the dining room staring at her phone like it had turned on her. She didn't see me, didn't look up. Her fingers hovered, unsure, like she was picking who else she could text that wouldn't already know. 2 hours later, she made 3 calls in a row. I only heard her side. They all ended the same, with silence and that clipped, fake, okay, no problem voice she used when rejection stung her ego. By evening, she poured a glass of wine. By 10, she poured another. That night, she thrashed so much in her sleep, I thought she might float off the bed. The next day, she didn't bother getting dressed. She stayed in that robe, drifting through the house like a ghost without a gravestone. Her phone pinged once around noon. She ignored it. Instead, she opened her email on the tablet, read something 3 times, then just sat there. After a long pause, she muttered, she's gone. I looked over. Who? My assistant. She emailed, said she's moving to Seattle. Effective today. I didn't respond, just kept folding laundry, slow, precise. The towel edges aligned perfectly. Lauren stood there, arms crossed, lips pressed tight like they were guarding a secret. That night, she took a sleeping pill for the first time in months. The next morning, I found her at the kitchen island, head in her arms, tea cold. I boiled water, pulled down the tin of lavender blend she always said soothed her nerves, set the mug in front of her gently. No words. She looked up, drained, eyeliner smudged, hair pulled back too tight, like she was trying to physically hold herself together. Thanks, she said softly, almost surprised I still knew her preferences. I nodded. You deserve calm, I told her. Her eyes scanned mine, searching for pity or a trap. It was neither. It was something sharper, kindness with a deadline. She came home quieter than usual, no slam of the car door, no sharp clack of heels on the pavement, just the soft click of the front lock and the faint groan of the door, as if even the house knew to stay hushed tonight. She mentioned she'd started therapy the first time she'd brought it up, said it like a challenge, like she expected applause for effort. Look at me, I'm fixing myself now. Her shirt was still tucked in too neatly, lipstick too precise, the kind of polish no one bothers with just to unpack their soul for $200 an hour. It went all right, she said, avoiding my gaze. Tiring, you know? Yeah, I said, flipping through a tool catalog I wasn't really reading. Hungry? No, just worn out. She headed upstairs, not quick, not slow, just cautious. I waited 10 minutes, then followed. By the time I reached the top step, I heard her open the bedroom door and stop. Total silence. I stood just outside the hallway, still as a shadow. The box was there now, on her side of the bed, closed, perfectly centered on her pillow like a relic. She didn't speak, didn't touch it. For the next hour, she sat on the bed's edge, staring at it, legs crossed, one foot twitching slightly, barely noticeable except when her toes curled like she was clutching the carpet for stability. At one point, she leaned forward, hovered her fingers over the lid, then jerked back like it might bite or betray. Eventually, she opened it. I watched her in the hallway mirror's reflection, positioned just right. Her hands moved slowly as if unsure they had permission. Inside, a flash drive, plain black, labeled L, a printed map, GPS coordinates circled in red ink, 3 exact addresses, 3 exact times, her Audi's precise trail logged weekly, meticulously, 1 photo, black and white. Edges blurred but unmistakable, her, the man, a bed, her bracelet visible, the one she only wore for special nights. And then the note, not typed, not printed, handwritten in my neat, squared-off script, 3 days to pack. Then I file, or we act like this never happened. Your choice. She didn't cry. She didn't yell. She just sat there, frozen, clutching that note like it was toxic. Her breathing was shallow, lips pressed tight, reading it over and over like she hoped the words would shift into something easier to dismiss. Her phone buzzed once on the nightstand. She didn't even look. Midnight passed. The house grew colder. She stayed awake, curled into a ball on her side, the box still open beside her as if closing it might erase its contents. I lay beside her, didn't speak, didn't touch her, just let the box's weight speak for itself. She didn't sleep and I didn't need to. She started day 1 with roses, vibrant red, the kind I used to get her after her showings, back when a closed deal meant pizza and a movie, not hidden dinners with men who called her Elle and didn't know her middle name. She set them in a glass vase on the kitchen table like they could take root there, like anything beautiful could still grow in a place this hollow. I made coffee, she lingered. Thought you liked roses, she said, voice light, almost playful. I like truth more, I replied. She didn't smile. By noon, she was making soup from scratch, the way she used to claim was her therapy when she felt unmoored. This time, though, the kitchen stayed too quiet, no music, no humming, no clink of spoons, just careful movements, as if perfect stock could scrub her name from a flash drive. That evening, she came down in silk, no bra, hairstyled the way I liked it in another life. She touched my hand during dinner, then my knee. Still love me, she whispered, biting her lip like it still held sway. I looked at her, not with anger, not with desire, just a strange, detached pity. You should rest, I said, wiping my mouth with a napkin. It's been a long day. She didn't cry, but something in her broke, silent and final, like a stair cracking under polished heels. Day 2, she got practical, tried to play the grown-up, sat across from me at breakfast and asked, "Can we talk?" Like we were 2 executives hashing out a deal. I nodded, let her go. She wanted a do-over, maybe a getaway, maybe couples therapy this time. I nodded again. You can plan something. You've got time. She stared. So, you're open to it? I'm open to everything, I said. Later that afternoon, she checked her accounts. Every joint fund was moved, every credit line she leaned on was cut. Her brokerage stocks were split already, mine locked for security, hers untouched and fully exposed to auditors. She tried calling her lawyer, I know because I heard her shouting through the bathroom door. You never mentioned a fidelity clause. Pause. No, he came prepared with proof. Hard proof. She came out with red eyes and a forced calm, like a reporter covering a storm while knee-deep in water. You planned this, she said, voice low. For how long? Long enough to not need to yell, I said. Day 3, she got silent, truly silent. She didn't cook, didn't flirt, didn't lie. She just wandered from room to room like a stranger in her own life, touching photo frames, folding towels that were already neat. She paused at our wedding picture once, held it for 5 full minutes, then set it face down. That night, I came home from the hardware store. The house was spotless, vacuum tracks still fresh, bathroom counter gleaming, guest room bed perfectly made. In our bedroom, the change was almost poetic. Her side of the closet bare, drawers empty, contents gone, suitcases by the door. Everything she brought into this marriage, nothing more, nothing less. On the bed, only one pillow, mine. She was sitting on the edge, suitcase at her knees. Can I ask one thing? She said, not looking at me. I nodded. Do you hate me? I stood there a moment, then said no. She exhaled, relief or fear, I couldn't tell. I just finally value myself enough to stop staying quiet, I said. And I turned off the light. She waited until the final hour. The house was dark, silent except for the hum of the fridge and the faint tick of the wall clock she once said clashed with the decor. I was in the living room polishing a screwdriver just to keep my hands busy, the kind of small, mindless task that stopped me from watching the front door. And then she stepped in from the hallway, no makeup, hair limp, just her, raw, or as close to it as she could get. She was holding the box, cradling it like a relic. Her eyes were red, sleepless, but for once not defiant, not smug, not shielded by denial, just shattered. Jack, she said, voice shaking, please. I screwed up. I was foolish. I was insecure. I thought I needed something else, but I didn't cut her off. She kept going like she was racing the end of something. I was lost, okay? I felt invisible. I wanted to feel young, wanted, and you were always just there, solid. I didn't see how much that mattered, not until I saw what life without you feels like. She stepped closer. I don't want to lose this us. I'll go to therapy. I'll tell everyone it was my fault. I'll sign anything. Just don't let this be over. Her voice broke like thin ice. I stood slowly, took a long look at the woman I once built a life for. She gripped the box tighter against her chest, like it could protect her from the judgment in my silence. You said, I began, that I was lucky you let me near you. She froze. You said it like it was charity, I continued, stepping closer, eyes fixed on hers, like it was a favor. A tear slid down her cheek. She didn't wipe it. But now, I said, voice even, no one will touch your name without caution. Her knees wobbled slightly. She pressed her lips shut to stifle a sob, the kind that begs for sympathy. I wasn't offering that. I opened the door. Cool night air rushed in, clean, quiet, final. She didn't move. I nodded toward the driveway. Your ride's waiting. She turned slowly, step by step, her composure peeling away like cracked paint. At the threshold, she stopped. Do I mean nothing to you now? She asked. I didn't answer. I didn't know her answers, just an ending. She stepped onto the porch. I took the door and closed it, then locked it, not with anger, not with triumph, with precision. The kind of click that seals a vault. I walked back to the kitchen, poured the last of the coffee from the pot, sat at the table where I used to plead for connection. Then I picked up my phone, turned it off, set it face down, and went to bed. No pillow on her side, no weight beside me, just breath, just silence, just sleep. The first real sleep in years.